Hi, I'm going to do a dramatic reenactment of an interview I just read titled I Did a 90-minute Workout at 2 a.m. Lenny Kravitz on Sex, Spliffs and Staying Gorgeous at 60 from The Guardian, and it's from May 30th, 2024. Okay, let's start. The musician has embraced clean living, even if it sometimes means wearing leather trousers to the gym. He discusses celibacy, discipline, his new music, and why he hasn't been in a serious relationship for 9 years. And this interview is by Simon Haddonstone. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to some gorgeous pictures of DILF, the DILF Lenny Kravitz. Okay, let's go. Okay, this is a very sexy interview, so I'm going to read this in a sexy way. Nobody does rock star like Lenny Kravitz. He pads into the recording studio like a tranquilized tiger. It's dark in here, but he's wearing shades. He's got on a leather jacket, skinny black jeans, a t-shirt made from metallic shards. His dreadlocks reach way down his back and are as black as his designer's stubble. Kravitz, who has spent much of his adult life topless, has a 28-inch waist and an 8-pack that could double as a xylophone. Last Sunday he celebrated his 60th birthday, and he's every bit as gorgeous as he was when he made his name in the late 80s. Possibly more so. The consensus seems to be that he's the hottest 60-year-old man on the planet. I can't believe you're 60, I say. I can barely believe it myself. But it's beautiful, he says. Is it in the genes? It's a combination of genes, self-care, hard work and discipline, Kravitz says. Kravitz is instantly recognizable. His songs less so. Take away the few big hits. American Woman, It Ain't Over Till It's Over, and Are You Gonna Go My Way, Fly Away, and many of us would struggle to name a song of his. It's 26 years since he last had a top 10 hit in the UK and 20 years in the US. And he's hardly prolific. Blue Electric Light, released this month, is only his 12th studio album in 35 years. Yet Kravitz remains huge. Worth an estimated $90 million, which is the same as 70 million pounds. I don't know how much that is in actual money. He writes and produces for other musicians, notably Madonna, Justify My Love. Although this takes us back 34 years. He acts The Hunger Games, Precious, The Butler, and works as a successful interior designer as well. Blue Electric Light is a classic Kravitz mix of funk, soul, pop, and heavy rock. His voice is honeyed. He is a gifted multi-instrumentalist, and he has a fine ear for writing songs that sounds as if they've already been written by someone else. The album is sunny and sexy, at various points echoing Jimi Hendrix, Pink Floyd, Prince, Elvis Costello, and a guy called Miguel. Okay. Then there is the outrageous song TK421, named after the Star Wars character. It also seems to be a euphemism for Kravitz's you-know-what. I think it's a sting-a-ling-dong. Come on, baby, get on the one. Can you feel it? Oh, my TK421. That's from the song. It's so silly. The accompanying video is every bit as raunchy as the lyrics. It's his first nude scene, and he pulls it off with aplomb. Kravitz, who lives in France, the Bahamas, and Brazil, grew up in New York. His mother was the actor Roxy Roker. There she is. That's Roxy Rooker. You can recognize her. She's very famous. Who starred in the sitcom The Jeffersons. His father, Cy Kravitz, was an NBC television news producer. Roxy was black with Bohemian ancestry, while Cy was white and Jewish. By the time he was in his teens, his mother was a household name and wealthy with it. But she was adamant she would not spoil little Kravitz, who showed promise in music, choral, classical, and pop. Despite that, he ended up at the British Beverly Hills High in Los Angeles, which inspired the TV series Beverly Hills 90210. On their 16th birthday, you'd see the kids driving in their BMWs. The teacher's parking lot was full of Chevys and Fords, and the students' parking lots were Porsches and Ferraris. It was pretty funny, he says. Did you have a car? Hell no. So how did you get to school? Bus or carpool with friends. But your parents could have afforded to buy you one. Of course, my mother was on a number one TV show for 11 fucking years. But that would not be raising a boy to become a man. We had no maid. On Saturday morning, she'd be scrubbing toilets. She was the most amazing human being. His relationship with his father was fraught. When Kravitz was 15, he was desperate to go to a jazz concert to see the drummer Buddy Ritz. Although his father had introduced him to jazz, he told his son he'd be out enough that week and couldn't go. Hold on a second, I just need to drink some water. So Kravitz's dad said, "You've been out enough this week, Lenny. You can't go to Buddy Ritz's concert." And that set little Kravitz off. He was 15 and nobody was going to boss him about. Okay. Kravitz said he was going and that he was also leaving home. What a fucking brat. Today he says he must have put his mother through so much pain. There was no internet, no mobile phones. If he didn't have change or there was no working phone box, he couldn't get in touch with her. And often he didn't. He was homeless, sometimes living in a car, sometimes depending on the kindness of strangers. It's a miracle I survived, that I wasn't abused, he said. Hold on, I say. I thought you said in your memoir that you were abused by a woman in her 20s when you were 13. He says, that was different. Yes, she did do that, but that wasn't. He comes to a stop. In today's world, yes, that was abuse and assault. It was this chick who saw this young teenager and thought I was cute and I'm going to give him some. And any young boy would have taken the opportunity and enjoyed the hell out of it. Okay. This is definitely not Vogue. Okay. Did you have sex with her? No, she began and I stopped her. Why? I had a girlfriend. What did she think when you stopped her? She thought it was comical. You have a girlfriend? Were you a virgin? He nods. Mm-hmm. I asked if he talked about it to his daughter, the actress Zoe Kravitz, and whether she regards it as abuse. He doesn't answer directly. I mean, she stopped, and I can't speak for everyone, but that would have been a fantasy for so many kids. But for me, it's not what I wanted. Okay. Kravitz initially struggled to secure a record deal. He was told he was too black to play rock and roll music, despite the fact that Little Richard and Chuck Berry had helped invent it 40 years earlier. He straightened his hair, wore blue contact lenses, and became Romeo Blue. Where did that come from? I had a lot of girlfriends, so they named me Romeo. Blue was a tribute to the guitarist Adrian Belew. This is Romeo Blue. I think Lisa Bonet could have done a lot better than 1980s Lenny Kravitz because he was really quite minging. Ugh, gross. Now, I mean, he's hot for 60, I have to say that. And he has a very good sense of interior design. He was Romeo Blue. In 1985, when he met the Cosby Show actor Lisa Bonet, 4 years his junior. When she turned 20, they eloped. A year later, they had Zoe, and the dynasty was extended. Zoe is a star in her own right. Bonnie and Kravitz split up when Zoe was 4, and are often cited as role models for bringing up a child harmoniously post-divorce. Okay. In his memoir, he writes of the time he overheard his father on the phone talking to a woman and realized he was having an affair. One of many. Kravitz was devastated and told him so. His father replied that he'd end up doing the same thing. I thought it was a kind of curse. Was his father right? He became right, he says. After the marriage, I became more like him. I think he was becoming a player. How did you feel about it? I didn't like it. I didn't want to be that guy, so I had to tackle that, and it took years. How did you tackle it? By taking responsibility, discipline, not letting my own desire take over. Kravitz tells me he's not been in a serious relationship for 9 years. Why are you serious when you said a while ago that you wanted to be celibate until you find the right woman? Yes, it's a spiritual thing. He says he'd love to be in a relationship now, but he thinks he might struggle. I have become very set in my ways, in the way I live. I'm not going to take a little break because I need to drink some water, because my voice is going, and we're like over 10 minutes in. And I think we've got more left. Okay, 1 second. Hello, and BRB. Okay, let's go on. By 1989, Kravitz had embraced his real name and released his first album. What was wrong with it in the first place? He looks embarrassed. I thought Lenny Kravitz sounded ridiculous. I've got nothing against my Jewish heritage, but it sounded like a Jewish lawyer or doctor. I didn't think it was very rock and roll. How wrong I was. It didn't take long for him to come to his senses. I cut the processed hair, grew dreadlocks, and became myself. It was a wonderful exercise in finding my way home. There's a picture of Lenny Kravitz after he is no longer Romeo Blue. Romeo Blue? What kind of fucking name is that anyway? Look, he's all dreadlocks and sexy, smoking ass, smouldering sexy ass. Did you not realize you were gorgeous back then? Not at all. I never thought that. I still don't think that. Really? I'm telling you the truth. I have grown to accept myself and be comfortable with myself. But I have never been one to look in the mirror and go, oh, yeah, look at that. You're so beautiful. And especially not back then as a teen. Absolutely not. The video for TK421, which features plenty of mirrors, would suggest otherwise. I can't take credit for that, he says. I hired this young Ukrainian woman director, Tanu. She had this idea. We're going to come to your house. You're going to wake up and open the curtains. Get ready for your day. I thought that sounded like the most boring thing ever. Then, when she gets there, she says, so you sleep in the nude, yeah? Kravitz says it could have backfired, but tells me how it worked. We are having fun. I'm singing into a toothbrush, dancing around the bathroom. It wasn't the energy. Ooh, let's be sexy. I had to disappoint you, I say, but it's a sex video. Someone has written a comment below it. Oh my God, 60 is a no 30. Lenny just proved it. He nods. Okay, well, that's okay. I'm going to say I'm not going to say that there were no sexy elements. And another comment. Great. Now I'm pregnant. Oh God. It was fun, but it was cool and it was sexy, he concedes. A big split features prominently in the video too. I'd heard that he used to be a heavy smoker. Is it true that he hired someone to roll his joints? Yeah, a junior high school friend. He had other jobs too, but one of them was to roll joints. What other jobs? Just assisting me. I wanted my body with me. Were you rolling or too busy? No, I was actually very good at it. But if I'm in the studio playing all the instruments, running around. Were you a mega spliffhead? Oh, yeah. I asked if he could compete with George Michael, who told me he smoked about 25 spliffs a day. I I'd say even more. I was Bob Marley level. Of course he was. Of course. What's his name? Lenny Kravitz is the best one at everything he does. He is better than Bob Marley at spliffs. Did it worry you? No, I've been smoking weeds since I was 11. I stopped years ago. Maybe I'll have a hit now and again, as you saw in the video. But I'm talking about every now and again. That doesn't really mean anything to me, Lenny. It's just saying words. He swapped grass for the gym and took his new hobby every bit as seriously. Could all 60-year-olds look like you? What about someone like me who's got a 0-pack? He looks me up and down. Right, he says in a way that doesn't inspire confidence. Well, there's a lot of hard work and discipline in being healthy for me. That means when I want to eat junk, I don't do it. He sounds positively like Karl Lagerfeld. How do you resist? Take last night. I worked all day, interviews, rehearsing, into the night, get home at 11 p.m. I need to eat something. Now it's 1 a.m. I didn't get my workout, so I went to the gym and I did a 90-minute workout at 2 a.m. I don't want to be in the gym at 2 a.m., but I know that I must. Why? Because it's part of my discipline. It's about body, mind, and spirit. Okay, Karate Kid. I want all of those three elements aligned. If my body is in shape and my spirit and mind are not, then it's just something nice to look at or to boast about. Who cares? For me, all of it has to be aligned, and I have to do the work. It takes to have all those in alignment, so my being can be at its maximum speed, velocity. God, this interview is very long. I think it's very boring. The thing is, I explained to Kravitz, I love eating Kit Kats, about 4 of them, followed by a bag of crisps with salted peanuts poured into it. He laughs sympathetically. I love Kit Kats, especially when it's been kept in the refrigerator. I'm a year older than Kravitz. Does he think there's hope for me? He gives me another once over. Now I'm convinced all he can see is a human Kit Kat. Oh, you are such a pathetic interviewer. Absolutely. Absolutely. But it takes discipline. You have to change your thinking and do the work. I do it completely naturally. I am on no hormones, no testosterone. I do this 100% by food and action. Well done, you Lenny Kravitz. Pat yourself on the fucking back. Have you ever been a slob? A slob? He repeats as if it's a foreign language. You know, a little bit lazy. A couple of times I stayed in Paris for 6 months in between tours, and I got a little pooty. I drank wine, I ate croissants, I just enjoyed myself. And then I was like, oh shit. But that's only happened once or twice. I bet it's only happened once. Yes, Lenny Kravitz in the gym with his trainer, both wearing sunglasses indoors. Look, Kravitz, leather trousers, netted vest. Trainer, sunglasses from the 90s. Well done, you. Today Kravitz is almost as famous for an incident that happened 9 years ago as he is for his music. He was rocking so hard on stage that his leather trousers split open at the crotch. He wasn't wearing underpants. Do you think that boosted your career? No, absolutely not. And it doesn't say no, it says no, absolutely not. Were you embarrassed? You just have to go with it. What can you do? Did you consider wearing underpants after that? I just made sure the pants I had were working. Okay, Lenny. Photos recently emerged of Kravitz working out in the gym in leather trousers. Was that for real? Yep. If I'm coming from somewhere and my trainer says we can get it in now, then I'll come as I am. A lot of the time I'm in street clothes, which people think is funny. Kravitz doesn't. It's just what you do when you're dedicated to getting body, spirit, and mind aligned. My time is up. Kravitz stands up and his mobile rings. It's on speakerphone. Hey, what's up, rockstar? Says a voice on the other end. Kravitz is chatting enthusiastically in the side room. Of course he is, because someone calls him and says, hello, what's up, rockstar? That feeds straight into his ego. Okay, in the side room as I leave, I put my head in the door to say goodbye. He waves. I ask who calls him rockstar. He grins. It's my cousin. He's just being so super facetious. And the album Blue Electric Light is out now on BMG. You can get it if you want.